It's going to be hard for City to get going again. I just think that's the psychology of it. Forgetting the money for a second. I know it's hard, but just forget the money for a second. They are frightening, Arsenal. They're absolutely frightening because of the age of the team, the signings that they're making. Now 15 million looks cheap, doesn't it? Arsenal are winning the transfer window and Manchester City might be losing it. Kyle Walker on his way to Bayern, apparently. Mahrez on his way to Saudi Arabia. Bernardo possibly to PSG or Barcelona. Gundogan already gone to Barcelona. Such an influential player in the last few years. Important goals every season, without doubt. I know he's 32, but if I had to pick between him and Kovacic to have in the team, it would be Gundogan every day of the week, to be honest. And then in defence, Laporte is wanted by a host of clubs, and it looks like he might be on his way out as well. They're losing a lot of players, and it is risky. It is a risky move. I don't think it's intentional by Pep Guardiola. I just think the age profile of some of these players, Mahrez, Gundogan, especially Kyle Walker as well, they've just won the treble with Man City after being there for a long time. I think, we forget that they're players. We think that every player just wants to stay at the club they're at forever and ever. It's not the case, is it really? And if you've been there for 6, 7, 8 years, you've just completed football in a single season, you're 33 years old, now might be the time to go and explore a different city or a different country, or take your family somewhere for a year. I think we forget that they're just humans, aren't they? They've got families, they've got kids. It's an adventure. It's a long vacation at that age. It is, Of course, the players themselves are still ambitious. They still want to win trophies, but at that age, and especially after the success that they've had for Man City, it's not going to be as intense. The next club, I just don't believe it is, because coming off a treble, it's going to be hard for City to get going again. I just think that's the psychology of it. And the signings that they're not making, the players that they're letting leave, those are very, very key players still, experienced heads, and massive players in the dressing room that they're just letting leave the club. Can they replace them? I'm not so sure. They were looking for Declan Rice, who would have been a massive character coming in, would have been able to play that John Stones role incredibly well. And then John Stones maybe go to a centre-back, sometimes play alongside Declan Rice. That'd be interesting. Rodri and Rice, by the way, good luck getting past that ever. But again, with Laporte, these are players that are going to improve rivals. And that's the thing with City. Whenever they seem to let someone go, because they're not getting the game times, Zinchenko, Jesus, they really do improve the team that they go to, because they're still world-class players. Because if you're not a very good player, you don't play for Pep, you don't play for Man City. And same goes for the academy. They're bringing through great players that they can sell, to be honest. You can't really fault... I know they've got 100 and odd breaches of FFP, but just in terms of the scouting and the way the club is set up, the academy and stuff, forgetting the money for a second. I know it's hard, but just forget the money for a second. Eyebrows are sometimes raised. The goalkeeper signed for Burnley the other day for 15 million, James Trafford, and then he goes and, concedes 0 goals whilst winning the under-21s, saving a massive save in the 96th minute, saving a penalty. That was crazy, double save. And now 15 million looks cheap, doesn't it? So it's interesting how that works sometimes. And the same for Lavia as well. That was around the same fee, and people thought, what, this guy's never played a professional game. I thought it myself. But you're paying for the coaching and stuff that they've had already, and there is a very high bar at City, and that's why they can demand these transfer fees. They know the value of their players because they see them training, and they can just go and have them train with Kevin De Bruyne and stuff for a bit, and Bernardo Silva, and Edison. It's like they're not completely separated at the academy from the first team. They will mingle. They will have games against each other and stuff, or they will mix the teams up and have games against each other. Of course they will. Why wouldn't you? Because that's going to make the development guys much better in the long run. I think City will be fine, but Arsenal are really, really gonna challenge them, I think, this year. They've made some great signings. If they can keep Saliba fit, if they can keep Declan Rice fit, of course, Odegaard, if Martinelli continues to improve, if Saka continues to improve, they are frightening, Arsenal. They're absolutely frightening because of the age of the team, the signings that they're making. They've gone out and they've just fixed what was wrong last year. There's no cover for Saliba, so Holding comes in so that Ben White can still stay at right back. Now they've signed Timber, who can play right centre-back and right back. Just gives them so much tactical flexibility in that area. If something happens, or if they're leading, they want to bring on another defender, Arteta can just make so many more plays now with that player in there. There's a lot of options. Zinchenko on the other side if they wanted to play wing-backs as well. Declan Rice and Zinchenko potentially as a double pivot at times. There is a lot to look forward to if you're an Arsenal fan. Havertz coming in, didn't have the best season last year. I'm not sold on him personally, but what I would say is Arteta in the last few years has shown that he can improve players and he can take them to that next level. I think he will take Declan Rice to that next level. Havertz, I think he needs to find his position. He needs to be settled. And Arteta has come out, and I don't believe Arteta when he says this, but he said it a couple of times in pre-season, something along the lines of, well, we'll get him in, we'll have a look, and we'll see, what his best position is. We'll see where we can play. We're still having a look. I don't believe that, because you spent £60 million on him. I don't believe that you don't have an idea before bringing him in. So maybe he just doesn't want to give too much away there. I think he sort of played left-sided midfield, or he seemed to pop up there a lot in the game against Nuremberg, and I don't think that's his position. I don't think Havertz is a central midfielder, not in the Premier League anyway. He's not got enough bite, he's not got enough battle in him. Again, happy to be proven wrong by Havertz and happy to see the progress if he is able to develop. It's always good when you see a player develop and turn into a different player, adopt a new position, so to speak. So if he can do that, that's fine, but I just don't think that's his best position anyway. I think he's more of a false nine or a right-sided inside forward. But good luck getting Saka out the team.